Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Copeland, you're recognized for a question.
Mark, thank you for coming. You used the word contrived, which I took offense to, because contrived is to create something that's not there.
I've not seen the amendments at all, and so that would be my observation. But go ahead.
You know, and something I've learned around here in the short month I've been here is two things. Everything's an emergency. We got to do it now. And secondly, the cost only comes to bear if you don't want it. If you want it, the cost doesn't matter. If you don't want it, the cost and then the threat of lawsuits. We can't. And now I figured out why most lawmakers are lawyers, because all the rest of us sit here, we're scared to death to make a decision because we're scared we're going to get sued, which is real smart on you lawyers' parts, to be quite honest. But what I've noticed is when in your legislative package, when you guys passed the water sewer connection that we passed yesterday.
I'm a county guy.
Okay. All right. When we passed that legislation, you know, so someone gets sued for sewer and water connection, there was no threat of lawsuits there because that's what was wanted. So my thing is, y'all have not been able to ascertain. You asked us to get cost analysis of what the cost is, but we didn't bring that up. You brought that up, that there's the fear, gloom, and doom of all the costs it's going to cost. And if you're that concerned about it, and your cohort's that concerned about it, I would have thought y'all would have figured that out. You would have had that cost here today. But what I've heard, you don't even know how many lawsuits have been filed. They've not been successful, and you don't know what that cost is. So we're going to make a decision today based on what you think may happen.
Let me just respond that you can easily find out what the Department of Corrections and AG spent on that last case. That's pretty easy. You can tell what they spent on attorney's fees all the way up to on that one case about that beer, okay? And that's accessible. What I'm suggesting under House rules, when you have a bill, and this bill is talked about suing and money and attorney's fees, that each member of this committee has the opportunity to ask for a cost report. I wouldn't ask to give a cost report. I pretty much know it's going to increase the cost. I mean, that's, you know, I trust me a little bit on that. But another thing about the contrived part is you're taking a part of our Arkansas Constitution that has been dormant for the most part for the last 100 years. And y'all just had issue 3, and you're about to draft legislation about issue 3 during this session. Well, you're suggesting that this legislature is going to draft legislation to interpret that provision of the Constitution that's been sort of dormant for 100 years. This bill doesn't look anything like the other bills in other states. It's got that Arkansas Constitution thing crammed right in the middle of it. So add that to the lawsuit the Department of Corrections just had, that they won at the 8th Circuit, they lost at the Supreme Court.
Can I ask you, what of the other states that have passed this, what states, sounds like you're pretty familiar with the other states and what they've done compared to what we're proposing. Can you tell me which states are closer to ours?
I really can't, I'm sorry.
You really have not studied those other states?
I know that they don't have part of the Arkansas Constitution crammed in there.
Well, they wouldn't have Arkansas's Constitution because they're not Arkansas.
And then what I'm suggesting is that makes it, you're creating, see, what way lawyers work is that we have this decades of precedent.
Well, I know how you work.
And then what you and you, by adding that, you're just going to create more litigation that we feel. I mean, working for county government, we hear about any kind of litigation. I'm not familiar with county government trampling on people's rights, and I'm suggesting that this is going to create more issues for us. And you can either, I'll give you a quick example. In 2007, y'all passed a law in which the county clerks said, you're going to make it to where 14-year-olds can marry each other, man and woman, boy and a girl. And nobody in the legislature believed us. Well, we were right. So 6 or 8 months later, y'all had to go back and repeal it. And it was a national problem. And we're sort of saying from a county government standpoint, the city government standpoint, that there's no doubt that's going to create issues that we don't think are necessary. But you can get upset with me or you make it, you know, but I'm just telling you that we're in the business. We know that just having to answer the questions for law enforcement, just have to answer the questions for the county clerks. And the county clerks just got sued. We're getting sued. We really don't need this to complicate what they do. That's what I'm saying.
And again, I'll finish up with this last comment. Again, there's a threat of being sued, which is constant here, if you don't want something to pass. But you nor the last gentleman were able to give us any substantiated evidence of that. And there's this great threat of it, but there's no substantiation of it. So
I'll make you a promise. You've given about a year after this passes, and you tell me how many seats you'll have. But this is just going to happen. I'm sorry, it will.
They'll go out and look for one.
All right. Representative